I'm James Owen.
I'm Sanders Tisdale.
And tonight's going to be a great show. Interesting show. A lot to talk about. A big loss for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Are 2-2 right now. Still second in division. A lot of stuff to talk about. Matt Canada, still offensive coordinator of Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to go and talk about that. Another plane incident, Sanders, coming home from Pittsburgh. What is up with these planes in the Pittsburgh Steelers and the luck that we have? So much to talk about, folks. Back on Steel Nation Live when we return after.
Welcome back, Steel Nation Live. It's your boy Sanders Tisdale,
James Owen right here.
Like we said, huge weekend going on. Steeler fans, everybody's up in arms. I'm up in arms. James up in arms. I mean, it's just hey, and get a kicker, James sporting it. Joey Porter
Porter
to college.
I couldn't wear a Steeler jersey tonight. I'm so upset. I noticed that you wore yours, Sanders. But I mean, maybe somebody will see this jersey and say, "Hey, look, we signed this guy on the Steelers." I mean, when he gets and he plays and he does great, but he's rarely getting any snaps. We need to get Levi Wallace out of there and get him in. But that's discussion for later on the show. We got to talk about this debacle that the Pittsburgh Steelers are running into. And a lot of folks out there, you know what? It all depends on who you talk to. Matt Canada needs to go. Pickett's a horrible quarterback. I mean, we could be talking about this all night, but the fact still remains, who is the leader? Who is controlling this offense? It's not Pickett. It's not Najee Harris. It's not the O-line. It's who's calling the plays. And execution, that's coming to call too. Execution. Well, the Steelers aren't executing. Well, do you ever think about they're executing the plays that are so horrible that it looks like they're not executing? They're not out there standing around doing nothing. We're going to talk about the stats, offensive statistics, because I'm digging. I'm finding stuff on, how the Pittsburgh Steelers were before and during Matt Canada's reign as offensive coordinator. To start off the show, we're going to talk about what our offensive coordinator said. He's quote, and it's through all the media. It's all over those other sports shows. When your offensive coordinator comes out and he makes a statement like this that says, "We are not made for comebacks, so beginning of a game is essential." What does that say about your offense? He's talking about his offense that, hey, if we fall behind, game's over. We're not gonna come back. We're not gonna do anything.
I know, that's crazy now because he's in charge of the offense, and you're saying that. You know what, guys, if they score a field goal first or they score a touchdown first, pretty much the game's over. You might as well start watching another team. I don't get it how you say that to someone and, and saying that, I don't have any type of respect for my own offense that I'm designing. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, and the defense didn't show up either. I mean, if you look at the stats, 0 sacks. And TJ Watt was going against a rookie, but this rookie played his butt off. I mean, no sacks, no turnovers. And if you look at how we won games this year, we won 2. Okay, it's a good start. But you look at how we won these games, we basically won them defensively. Turnovers, pick sixes, scoop sixes. We're scoring on defense. We're putting our offense in situations where we don't have to go 80 yards down the field to score or kick a field goal. I mean, it's just common sense, positioning of the football. Where are you going to be? Where are you going to start from? Great positioning. We did not have that against the Texans. Also, coming into the game, totally outcoached by a rookie coach. And the first time I think the Steelers were beaten by a rookie quarterback, and I can't tell you a decade, because Steelers usually are able to manipulate the weaknesses of a rookie quarterback and a head coach. Those Texans, I got to tell you, like Mike Tomlin says it all the time after a loss. We got to tip our hats. You know what? It's old, but it's true. I mean, those guys came to play. The Pittsburgh Steelers did not come to play, and that what falls back on coaching. And Mike Tomlin's got to pull the trigger, or the Rooney's got to pull the trigger, because, folks, if this is what you want for the rest of the season, this is what you're going to get.
Yeah, and the scary thing is, I don't know if a lot of you guys have caught it, but even Antonio Brown chimed in where he said, Coach T, get out of there before they ruin your legacy. You saw what they did to me. Well, basically to AB, which, that was a lot of his was self-inflicted. But right now, at this point, Coach T, you are self-inflicting your own wounds, dude. Get this dude out of town. Get him a bus ticket and get him on his way. If you don't, your career will be done. Because I'm pretty sure the Rooneys are going to pull Tomlin in the office. And believe me, I was one of the bigger proponents of him. I'll sit here and say it. I thought Tomlin had a lot of things to him, and I still do believe he does, coaching wise. But the fact is that when you got to get it through your head, dude, it's not working. It's not working with this guy. So why take chances on that? And this guy's going to cost you your livelihood. Don't get me wrong. Now, if Tomlin gets fired, he will get hired. Believe that. But the fact is that it's a situation that you could possibly remedy, just easily, just appease. You shouldn't in life try to appease every fan wants, because you know how we are. We wake up on the couch and we think we can diagram, the atom bomb. It is what it is on, what fans or whatever. But the thing about it is, stop. Look at the game film. Look at your thing. James had brought up some phenomenal statistics on how the Steelers have been placed since they've been under Matt Canada.
Yeah, it's called doing due diligence in your homework. And it's, I'm not out there looking for, negative stuff. If I find it, I'm going to report it. That's what we do. It's called journalism, sports journalism. That's what we do here, Steeler Nation Live. Please, folks, call up 585-210-3917, 585-210-3917. Hit the message board. If you're too shy to call, we won't bite. Call up. We want to hear. A lot of people out there have their opinion. They'll go on the Facebook or the Book of Faceness, and they'll express their, emotions, their theories, whatever. We'd love to hear them. Honestly, we really will. We're not going to bash you. That's one thing we don't do on the show. We shout out facts. We don't bash people. And if you're doing bad, you're going to hear about it. But if you're doing good, definitely, more than likely you're going to hear about it. But a lot of people out there are saying, well, you know what? It's not Matt Canada's fault. He doesn't do the plays. He doesn't. It's all about execution. He calls the plays. They're supposed to execute the plays. And like I said earlier at the beginning of the show, just because he calls the plays and you see crap out there, like it doesn't look like they're being executed properly or correctly, folks, they pretty much are. And this is the reason why there's so much anger and hostility towards Matt Canada, because since he's come to Pittsburgh, he has totally done nothing. He was run out of LSU halfway through the season because the offense that he was bringing to a college team wasn't working. He was on a number of college teams that his style of play didn't work. So he just moved on to the next town, moved on. He ended up in Pittsburgh. He started off as a quarterbacks coach. He did a pretty good job at quarterbacks coach, and that's how he elevated to offensive coordinator, because Randy Fichtner, he was on the way out too, because the plays he was calling was like, holy crap, could this get any worse? And folks, be careful what you wish for, because I tell you what, it seemed like a challenge to me that this guy coming, oh yeah, Randy Fichtner, he really screwed things up. Watch this, hold my beer. But here's some stats, folks, that I wrote down and I pulled out. And for all you naysayers that, it's all Pickett's fault. It's the O-line. Najee Harris isn't running like he used to.
That's the thing that gets me is Najee Harris.
But he had a good day.
He did.
He had a good day. Not a stellar day.
No.
But he's getting better, and it's because the O-line is starting to get their heads together. But let me write these, or spout out these statistics really quick here for the folks at home. All right, we're going to start off with 4.9 average plays per drive. Okay. When the Steelers get the ball, they average not even 5 plays before they have to, punt the ball. 3 and outs, pretty much. Last in the league. 21.4 average yards per drive. Unless you're starting on their 10-yard line, you're not going to score many points. Last in the NFL. Almost only 2 minutes. 2 minutes an average drive lasts for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Worst in the NFL. 8.7 of the drives end in TDs. That's out of 100%, folks. 8.7% out of 100 end up in touchdowns for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last in the league. 17.9% of the drives end in points. Worst in the league. Points per game. We average 12 points a game. That is second worst in the NFL. So we're really not the worst. We're second worst. Total yards per game, 263 yards. We used to get that in a half, 29th in the league. And first downs per game, 13 first downs per game.
Yeah.
Worst in the NFL. Now you tell me that that's Pickett's fault. You tell me that that's Najee Harris's fault. You tell me that's all the O-line. If you call plays that don't work, you can execute all day long. You can. If they don't work, or here's an idea, Sanders. Predictability. If the defenses know what you're going to run by formations, you're not going to get far. And one of the things that I was excited about when Matt Canada came to be our offensive coordinator, this is a true story. He was supposed to have schemes and develop schemes that where he lines up the offense, it's not the play that the defense is expecting. So that way, the play that he's going to call is going to work because the defense is looking for something else. Not happening, brother. It is not happening. And you continue and continue and continue. I see it's on all these other sports channels, these defenses that talk after they play the Steelers. Well, especially that interception that the Texans had when Austin was running that route that he scored last week on. They knew it was coming. They had the safety wait and then come over and intercept the ball. It was if you watch the highlight, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The play was forming like it was, the 2 touchdowns to Pickens and to Calvin Austin III, and they knew it was coming. Why? Because of the formation the Pittsburgh Steelers offense set up. And this is like every play. You can't blame Najee. You can't, Jalen Warren, Najee Harris, 2 different styles of running back. You watch them. Najee is more of a finesse power back. Jalen Warren is, I don't give a shit. Give me the ball. He's like a cannonball. That's it. And he just fire like a cannonball out of a cannon, and hopefully you can stop him. And that's why people say, well, let's get Jalen Warren in. How many times, Sanders, tell these people at home, how long is that going to last for him in a game?
Put like this, guys, if Jalen Warren becomes a starter, I don't think, number one, he's a nice running back, but I don't think he has that physicality, that same physicality as Najee has. Najee's a bigger back. He's physical. Yeah, does he need to get going? Yeah, he needs to get going, but you got to have holes to get going. I equate to, I don't know why I escaped to Tennessee Titans running back, Henry. Henry's a guy. Henry's a guy. He's not a scat back, but he's a guy that's running through, must be Mack truck holes the size of this guy is. And Najee is not getting that. Najee's dealing with a line that's got a lot of issues. A line, to me, that Najee is either making stiff arms when he gets the handoff, or he's having to elude defenders at the handoff all the time. How does that make him a bad back? How does it? Does he make mistakes at once in a while to where maybe he might stutter step, or I don't know what it is? Yeah, once in a while. But the guy, to me, I've seen many games where Najee's starting to become a better receiving back. Najee is actually fight. That's one guy I will say in the NFL, one of the main backs out there who fights for every yard he gets. Every yard this dude gets. Najee is that type of back. And not just that, he's starting to, like I said, starting to mature as a great receiving back. And don't get me wrong, I love Warren. I love him. But Warren can't take the pounding of a full season. And I know he can't. Look at his size. He's one of the smaller backs. He's basically a scat back that does offer that rest period for a workhorse like Najee. And I love the way the Steelers are thinking in that direction. I do. I really do. Because just like the Steelers, when they have Franco Harris, Rocky Blyer will come in sometimes to dispel them. It's all about how you use these backs. But the bad thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers is they're doing a great with the running backs, but everything else sucks the way they're doing everything. Yeah. Offensively, defensively, the quarterback position. And, like I said, later on, we're going to touch base on all the positions, the skill positions for the Steelers, see how they did, what you did. We'll grade them like we did before. And, there's a lot to get to. And also we got to talk about the Ravens as well. The Steelers have coming in. And the crazy thing, James, if the Steelers beat the Ravens, the Steelers are back in first place, which is unbelievable. The way we played, last place in almost every category there is out there in NFL football, and we might be tied for first place. Well, not even tied. No. Well, if we beat the Ravens, we might be in first place.
Yeah, because we should be in first place solo by ourselves because we lead the division in wins against our division opponents. Coming out of that game, not only did we have a huge loss, we had a couple of injuries, major injuries to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're talking about Kenny Pickett, his knee injury, sprained MCL, not that bad. They were talking about possibly a torn meniscus, but plays have shown, highlights have shown he's not in a knee brace. He seems to be walking fine, gingerly at best. But still, he's going to be out at least 1 to 3 weeks. Now, also another injury, Freiermuth,
right.
Hamstring injury. He'll be gone for about 3 weeks, and really no concern with that. And I'll tell you why, because they never used him anyway. So he's got maybe 7, 8 pass attempts towards him. He's got 1 touchdown. He's on my fantasy team. And one game, he gave me some points. That was last week. Other than that, they need to start using their draft recruit, Darnell Washington, that beast from Georgia. I mean, he's not, known for his skills and his hand skills, but if the guy catches the ball, good luck trying to tackle him. He's like Derrick Henry on steroids as a receiver. Look at his highlights. There's no highlights for Pittsburgh. So you're going to have to go back to his Georgia highlights, his Georgia days, and see what actually, I know it's sad. You're laughing because why are you laughing? Because it's true, because there's no highlight film in Steeler gear for this rookie right here, this draft pick, Darnell Washington. He should be getting more looks. I'm seeing if Freiermuth was taking, all the looks away from him, but he rarely got any. So, he's going to have to step up and be the man right now. And, and hopefully, what people don't understand is that Freiermuth is more of a wide receiver. He's like horrible at blocking, and goes back to, again, Matt Canada, utilizing his players to their strengths, not their weaknesses. Freiermuth he can't block anybody. He can't. If you watch film like we do all the time, and you wonder why people get, tackled in the backfield, why there's sacks, because if you have Freiermuth in there to block, you're in trouble. And I'm not saying anything to trash the guy. He's like Heath Miller 2.0. I love the guy. You know what I mean? But I don't want to get his jersey because I don't want to jinx him. So that's why I don't have it. I'm thinking about it. But anywho, that when you utilize your players at their strength, that's one thing that an offensive coordinator needs to do. What are your strengths, not your weaknesses? And that's how you win ball games. So talking about strengths and weaknesses, we have Broderick Jones, the number 1 draft pick that we picked this year. Why isn't he playing? Well, he had a rough training camp, and he's not panning out the way the coaches thought he would. So they're going to kind of wean him in there. Bullshit. Get them in there. This is the only way these young kids are going to learn something. If they're not in there, they're not going to learn. They have to be in game time situations. These practices aren't going to do any good. You got to get these kids in there. It's early in the season. I say kids because I'm an old guy and they're a lot younger than me. So I call them kids. Get them in there. Get them adjusted to the NFL, because college is one animal. The NFL is a different one. And you come from one style playing college, we're in the NFL now. This is the big league. Pull up your big boy pants.
Yeah.
If you're not in there, Sanders, more than you should be, of course you're going to digress. Get him in there. But I'm going to talk about that later in the show, what I believe, how the Pittsburgh Steelers can turn this around. Yeah, we're 500 right now, have a chance of, first place. But after the debacle we saw in Houston, the lack of intensity, the lack of heart, the lack of play, it's disgusting. And we talked about this, first game, how excited we were about the intensity. We saw a different level of intensity about this new Pittsburgh Steelers team for the 2023 season. We see none of it right now. And, can you blame the defense, Sanders? They're out there like 70, 80% of the time. And, I'm not going to, when we grade them later, I'm not going to be too harsh on them with the no sacks, the no turnovers, because at some point in this season that you can only give so much, and it all goes to coaching too.
Yeah. It does go to coaching. But one of the main factors that I would like to talk about tonight, really realistically, is Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett, we talked all about, Matt Canada, but Kenny Pickett plays a role in this as well. And when I say Kenny Pickett plays a role, and I mean the fact that it's hard to watch because I want the young guys to succeed, but it's hard to watch the regression of Kenny Pickett, the backslide, the fact that this guy, you and I talked about it offline, the fact that this is a young quarterback who now all of a sudden from last year, it seems like he has no pocket awareness or no pocket fundamentals. And it seems like he backs up. And if he feels the slightest bit of pressure, he's gone. And if he doesn't feel the slightest bit of pressure, he's making these awkward turns.
Yeah.
To where when he has the ball in his hand, he turns his back towards the whole secondary or the whole receiving core. And then he turns around. But that time, like we discussed offline, and James said, you lose track of where your receivers are. You don't know where the hell you are. You might throw it in the stands for you know. You always have to keep your eyes downfield. And for some reason, he's turning his back towards the receiver. And there were many pictures I've seen online where there were wide receivers open. There were wideouts that were open. Fourth down play. Granted, that was one of the worst play calls. Thanks again, man, Canada. One of the worst play calls out there in the shotgun, 4th and 1, and he had a guy open.
Well, here's a deal. Here's the deal with that. Why would you unless you had a special play set up that you knew was going to work, 4th and 1, why would you set your quarterback 6 yards deeper? So now it's 4th and 7 now. When there's so many different plays that he could have called on that set play. But that's where the coaching comes in. And my viewpoint about, everybody talk about, it's the offensive line, it's Kenny Pickett, it's the receivers, it's, whatever. It's not Matt Canada. He doesn't execute. He calls the plays. I'm sick and tired of hearing that. Here's the deal. And we've talked about this. We'll talk about it again and again and again. When you call the plays that are stupid and won't work, and you keep on calling the same plays over and over again, right? That's crazy. What my analogy would be like a classroom setting, either high school or college. You have a classroom, kids are failing. Okay. Who do you go to? Do you go to kids and say, okay, you're failing, you're out of my class, you stink, get out of my class? Or do you go to the teacher and say, hey, look, why are your kids failing? Why are your kids not being taught properly? And yeah, you're college players, football, right? But when you leave college, you go to the NFL, it's like I said, it's a different animal. So you need leadership, you need coaching, you need not to be held by the hand. But here, we don't do that in the NFL. That's college stuff. So here's what we got to do. If you have a poor leader or a poor teacher, your kids are going to fail. If you give them work to do and it's not in accordance to what they should be learning, they're going to mess up. They're going to fail. This is what I relate it to. Matt Canada is the teacher. He's the leader. He's the coach. Now, if you don't lead them the way they should be led or in a positive direction and give them something momentum, something good to start off on a good foot and take that and elevate yourself, as opposed to saying, you know what, our guys aren't made for that. So why are you still there? Why do you still have a job? Why are you still working as a coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers? I want to know. Many people out there want to know. Why do you still have a job? I know it's uncharacteristic for the Pittsburgh Steelers to fire somebody, but you know what? There's a time and a place for everything. And right now, and I'm sending this message out to the Roonies. Tomlin, you got to listen. It's not just a knee-jerk reaction. It's not just like, oh, we're losing, let's fire everybody because that's the answer. No. Is it the answer? It is right now. And like we said earlier, be careful what you wish for because the next guy up could be worse. But we have to do what we have to do because if you're in a direction, shit rolls downhill. If you're going downhill and you have no sense of going up that hill and you have an offensive coordinator, your coach is saying, well, you know what? We tried, guys. If we start losing, We're not built to coming back and winning. What does that say about his offensive play and his technique and his style? What are you telling your players? Okay, well, we got paid anyways. Let's just show up and give our best.
Pretty much.
It's not working.
Pretty much.
Mm-mm.
Pretty much. Yeah, guys. I mean, it gets to a point like that, like you said, when you got your fans, your fan base is thoroughly frustrated. And, you know, we come on and we look at a lot of film about the Steelers. We look at a lot of things about the Steelers, take feedback from a lot of people about the Steelers, watch the frustration. And sometimes when you figure, you sit there and you say, how in the world could you not see it? How in the world could you not see it? And right now they have to do something. The season is still young. You got a young guy in Kenny Pickett. You know, get rid of Canada now. Get someone in that can work with Kenny Pickett while the season is still young. You know, it could be a possibility. Could be a possibility that you might win this game and then you got a bye week next week. You know, so bring Kenny Pickett back after the bye week. But James, here's a quick question. Anybody out there on the board right as well. Should Pittsburgh let Kenny Pickett heal up, sit out another 2 weeks that it equate to if he doesn't play this week and we're off next week? Should the Steelers start Mitch Trubisky or should we bring in Rudolph?
Well, here's the deal. You know my thoughts on that. So Kenny Pickett right now, 3 to 4 weeks. Because is he our future? A lot of people are saying no. I'm on the fence too. I mean, but have we really seen the true Kenny Pickett? I don't believe we have. And under this coaching regime of Matt Canada and his foolish plays that he's calling, he's going to either get him killed or he's going to ruin his career. I mean, like I said, you know, football is 90% physical. The other half is mental. And there's a lot of mentalness going in to a quarterback. I mean, a lot of things you got to think of. How can I try to improve this and that? And it's not working out. Let this kid heal. Give him time. Give him a coach who actually cares. Mike Sullivan, the quarterback coach, can work with him while he's, you know, not starting anymore. And I think Mike Sullivan could come up and be the offensive coordinator until next year. Okay. Because I know that he knows the system, whatever, and he can change, he can add things, because right now I think Kenny Pickett has only 10 to 12 plays that he's calling, and defenses are eating this up. It's so early in the league, in the year, in the season, that by, I don't know, game 8 or 9, that it's going to be like they're in the defensive offensive huddle, the defenses. So we have to do something. We have to switch things up, and Canada needs to go like right now. And if we bring Pickett back too soon, look at Joe Burrow from the Cincinnati Bengals. Look how horrible that offense is doing. He is not recovered from that calf injury. And the more he plays, the more he's out there, the worse it's going to get. And his career is going to be over. Not over in a sense that he's never going to play again, but over in a sense that he's not going to be capable of doing what he was progressing to do.
All right, let's see. We got somebody calling in on Steeler Nation Live, so we're going to get that call now. Hey, caller, who do we got on the line?
Fresh out of surgery, you got San Fran Steve.
Oh, San Fran Steve, we were going to give you a shout out. Folks at home, if you don't know who this is, San Fran Steve, he's one of our celebrity phone callers. Obviously, San Fran Steve, you know, he's not a Steeler fan, but anyways, shout out to San Fran Steve. He just went through some shoulder surgery, and we hope you're recovering well. Obviously, you can pick up the phone in the other hand and give us a shout, and we really appreciate you taking the time to call us, and hope your recovery is going well, Steve.
It's what do they call it? The nerve blocks is starting to wear off now, so it's a pain in the rear end. But I got enough juice to give you guys a shout tonight, and ask what the hell happened to you guys the other day.
Well, wait, I just want to know why you have pain in your rear end if you had shoulder surgery. I'm no doctor, even though I play one on TV, but that's for a different time and a different place for the butt hurting. But let's go on with football, shall we?
Oh, let's talk about why you're not supporting your team today.
I'm supporting my team, Joey Porter Jr. jersey. Hopefully that somebody will see and remind them that he's on the team and that we drafted him for a reason, not to sit on the sidelines and watch other people suck. Sorry.
Hey, Steve, let me tell you this.
Yes, sir.
I really do believe, and like you're saying with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's one thing I do like about Steve. People, you know what? He loves the 49ers, but the thing about it is he comes on and he gives true, honest football opinions, and that's what we love. People call and people from other teams call in, and they talking, but they watch it, and it's good to get people's feelings from outside. And when they look in and you look at something, because when you're internally, sometimes we let things slide, but other teams look at it and say that's disgusting. But my problem is that I see a lot of is the situation with Matt Canada, who should be gone, and also the regression of Kenny Pickett, which I just discussed earlier as well, which is a hard thing to watch. I mean, and I'm pretty sure you coming from a team with a young quarterback who I can't believe it was the last guy taken in the NFL draft. And this guy's looking like the second coming of Joe Montana. Uh-oh.
I think we lost him.
Did we lose you?
I lost you for a second, but I got you back now.
Okay.
Well, let's just compare. Yeah, it's just like I hope James finally opens up his eyes and sees that he was never sold on Brock Purdy. But what did he do last week? 20 for 21, 283 yards.
Why you gotta show me?
5% passing rating. And let's go back to your Kenny Pickett was 15 for 23, 114 yards. What was it? No touchdowns and one pick at a 65.2 rating. Come on.
I have an answer for you. I have an answer.
The answer is going to be until the Steelers front staff could make a choice without hurting any feelings. It's time to get rid of your offensive coordinator.
Right. But I have an answer to why your quarterback is doing better than our quarterback. You want to hear it? One word. Coaching. The staff in San Francisco.
I actually like that. That's actually a good answer.
Is amazing. They have great leadership. Not saying that the Steelers don't have great leadership. They do to a point. But it's like walking down a hill halfway down and there's a cliff. Okay. What do we do for here? We stay here. Do we jump? Well, we're falling off the cliff, as opposed to San Francisco 49ers with their great coaching. It's almost like Bill Belichick-esque. He takes these players, these no-name players, and he coaches them and gets out not only their potential, what they're good at, and makes them better than what they are. And that's what the San Francisco 49ers did to Purdy. And it's night and day. And you take the Pittsburgh Steelers and their offensive coordinator woes, that we haven't had an offensive coordinator in the past, I don't know, 10, 15 years that actually knew what they were doing. I think Bruce Arians was the best offensive coordinator the Pittsburgh Steelers had. Unfortunately, he moved on to better and bigger things, head coaching, from moving from an offensive coordinator standpoint to a head coach. Kudos to you. He's been doing a great job since. But getting back to what I said, Brock Purdy was in a great situation as far as being coached offensively, as opposed to Kenny Pickett with these. I mean, it's not an excuse. It's a fact. Look at the training records. Look at the coaches' training records for both teams. Fact. I just read off the stats of the Pittsburgh Steelers, how they were since Matt Canada came. Pretty much the worst offense in the league. And the one stat that stands out to me, and I said it last week on a show, that Pittsburgh Steelers out of 32 teams are the only team that has not had a 400-yard game. Every team in the NFL has done it at least 4 times. Okay? 4 times. The Pittsburgh Steelers under Matt Canada has not done it once. That's disgrace. That's horrible. It's all about coaching. And then, like I said, coming back to Purdy, that is why. Checkmate.
Whoa. Well, I didn't know we were trying to do it on 17 moves, but here's the other thing. This is where you got to give the rich history, and both teams have a rich history. You guys got one more Super Bowl win than us. But it's just like the 49ers haven't made too many bad choices when it comes to finding a head coach. And the problem with their head coach this year, he's doing phenomenal jobs, but he's doing it with new offenses and defensive coordinators that are getting drafted by other teams. Like, like the little smiley little McDaniels down in Miami was the offensive coordinator. Then they got the other guy that the Houston Texans head coach was our offensive coordinator last year. Then the Salim from the Jets was the defensive coordinator. So it's just like once the 49ers get some kind of winning, once they start winning again, they're looking at that organization to start pulling coaches, and the coaches are going out winning because maybe it's because they're following the Shanahan's plans, and we're just not talking about the 49ers coach. We're talking about his own man's coaching plans too. And right now, the Steelers have not had the coaching to produce winners to where other teams are going to want them. It's just like in Matt Canada, he needs to go. There's no other thing you could say to make anybody else believe it. And why the Roonies haven't stepped in to get him out? Why Tomlin is afraid that does he have some dirt on Tomlin?
Something.
Let bygones be bygones. You got to move on. And you got to find someone in the organization, or you better go out and get one of these retired coaches to come out and maybe not be the offensive coordinator, but be a consultant that you got to figure out what's going on why you're not moving the ball.
Well, here's the deal about. Let's look at the Giants. They're doing horrible. And they're just doing horrible because they have running back issues, they have quarterback issues. They really don't have coaching issues. Different scenario with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I have stats, not just we're mad because we're losing, so let's blame somebody and get them fired because we're not happy that we're losing. I got stats right here, facts. If you're watching facts that this guy, since he's coached our offense, is almost the worst. I only have 8 categories, just 8. There's many more, because I didn't want to bore anybody. But the fact that people keep on saying that it's not Matt Canada's fault is BS. It's right down BS, because the stats don't lie. Stats don't lie. Their numbers don't lie. And I implore everybody out there who thinks it's not Canada to look up the stats. I don't make these things up. This is facts. And people don't understand it because it's so easy to blame the quarterback. Well, look at Canada. He's throwing the ball over. Canada. Pick it. He's throwing the ball all over the place. Well, if he didn't have 6 guys in his face all the time, or if they do a play like, hey, here's something. How about a screen? How about a dump off to the tight end, who they're there for, especially tight ends who can't block and their sole purpose is to catch. What do you think is going to happen? If you start throwing screens, the defense isn't going to be rushing. Hey, here's another thought. Play action. How about that? When you stop the linebackers coming in, opens up the middle. It's not rocket science. So we could be here all night, Steve. I know you got things you got to do. You got a big game next week against the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, we got to get to that.
And you know what? I think the Cowboys are going to win, Steve. And I'm not just saying this because I'm being a jerk, but I'll give you 2 reasons. Number 1, I don't want the Cowboys to win, and they're going to win. Okay. 2, San Fran had a little trouble with the Cardinals. I know the Cardinals beat the Cowboys, but here's the fact. This is a setup because you guys got to play them again down the road, right? I could imagine you're going to play them twice this year, the Cowboys.
Twice. No, if they made the playoffs.
Well, yeah, this is going to set up a scenario.
They make the playoffs.
I think the Cowboys are going to squeak this one out. It's going to be, it's going to be a real great football team. Football game. I think the Cowboys sneak this one out 37-35.
I kind of agree with you. Steve, I'm telling you, man, and believe me, I by no means I'm not a Cowboy lover in any aspect. No. But I do believe right now they're kind of rolling. You guys are rolling as well. You guys are rolling on all different levels. But I do think that the Cowboys will possibly pull this one out. And if they make the playoffs and they play you guys again, I believe you guys will beat them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll put the farm on that one.
All right. So how did you guys pick the Bills Miami game last week? You both took the Dolphins, or you both probably took the Dolphins, right?
I did. Yeah, I did.
I don't believe we talked about that game.
should have. It was probably the game of the week. It was probably the biggest game of the weekend. So, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to piss off your Cowboy caller. That's probably going to call him a little bit.
Oh yeah, right.
As long as they have Dak Prescott, is going to throw picks in the end zone every time because I think our defense can stop their offense.
Very possible.
I think Purdy gets the ball out pretty good, but no one's been able to stop Christian McCaffrey this year.
Touchdown every game.
Then you got, and this is the first time we ever started the season with averaging 30 more points per season. I think you're going to keep seeing that with Dallas. I think Dallas is going to slip up a few times, put the rock on the ground. They're going to throw a couple picks, and I don't think Dallas is going to be able to understand. And they're playing in San Fran, so we got the 3-point favor. I just think and Micah Parsons, who was on his podcast the other day, is just begging Cowboy fans to go out to Candlestick to make it like a home game. Well, that's not going to happen. So I think my prediction right now for that game is going to be 31-23.
31-23.
And what was my prediction last week? You guys gotta start saving these. You don't.
Nah, you were way off.
What was his?
I was off by 2 points I was off by 2 points. I think I said 33.
Yeah, you're right.
What 30?
You're right. I wrote it down.
33-10, right?
Yep. He did. Unbelievable.
So I'm even going to throw a bonus one out there.
I quit.
And I'm not. And I think with your game, I don't think Baltimore's been impressive either. I just think with your team, sit your ass down. I think Baltimore's going to be 24-16.
24-16.
Write that down.
Did they even figure out who start? Because I read somewhere today that Pickett was in practice. Are they going to attempt to try to bring him in?
Well, if they want to kill him, yes. Me, like I said, he needs to be out at least 3 weeks. At least 3 weeks. 3 weeks, 4 the max. Because you look at what they did to Joe Burrow, and his career is just tanking. I mean, I had the stats somewhere on here. I can't find them right now, but it was like worst of his career. They're 0-3 right now, the Bengals. So they're in the basement.
That's why you never do a big contract in just before the start of the season. Is a contract curse.
Well,
your guy did it. Watched it a couple years ago when he got that big contract. The next thing you know, he's up for 5 or 6 games.
Well,
and
yeah, you got a point there.
Man. Then our guy, he was out. He wanted the big contract. He comes back. He hasn't done it. He got 1 sack in the last 4 games. So
hey, Steve,
we got
to cut you short, Steve. We got another phone call coming in, and we will hope to see you or talk to you next week. Thank you for your input, and call us next week.
Hey, I sent someone a Facebook request friend over there, and he hasn't accepted it yet.
Oh, did you? Oh, yeah. You know what? You did. I got you, brother. I got you. Like I said,
that way I can help you with your Cowboy fan stuff.
All right.
You guys have a wonderful night. It's almost time for me to go back to bed for a little while.
All right, take some more meds.
All right, my brother.
We'll talk to you.
I think now. Let me see. I think we got another call on the line. Oh, is he still on? Nope. I guess he dropped off. Hey, last caller that called in, the Still a Nation Live called in. We got a few going on. Cowboy Nation, 49er Nation. Oh, here we go. Hey, welcome to Still a Nation Live. This has got to be. Nation. Oh, here we go. You got to turn your radio down in the background, though.
I thought I was watching Steeler Nation Live. I didn't know I was watching Cowboy Nation Live.
Listen, we're not.
That's all I'm saying.
We're not
you got
dopes.
people in San Francisco talking now about the Cowboys. I'm like, is this Cowboy Nation live TV? What's going on?
Hey,
Listen.
all I want to know is we had a caller that was from San Francisco. Big game this weekend. And because the Steelers got a big game.
I heard him over there dreaming.
Now, let me ask you something. Now, he gave us the score.
Yes, sir.
He gave us a score of 24-16. No, that was the Steelers.
Yeah.
What's the score he gave us for the
31-23.
31-23? That was right.
Cowboys
31-23.
win, right?
No. San Fran wins.
49ers.
Yeah.
Now, he said that as long as you have Dak, there's always going to be issues for the Cowboys.
I believe it.
And that's possible.
Okay.
That's possible.
All right. That's an argument.
Yeah.
That's an argument to be
Not an
had,
argument.
but-
No. It's called facts.
For the record, Dak actually scored in the red zone this past week. He went in
Okay.
the red zone and
Okay.
he scored.
Okay.
So I'm saying things are happening. Things are happening.
But now you're
Some
playing
changes
you're playing a faster defense. You're playing a faster defense.
McCaffrey is boss. I know McCaffrey is boss.
Yep.
But our defense, when we show up, we show up. So it's really going to be. I'm just saying, it's really going to be.
Yeah.
How do you stop a movable force with an? You know that saying, an unstoppable object.
Oh yeah.
That's what it's going to be like.
As
It's gonna
Thomas
be a
says,
clash, I'm
minutia.
telling you.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say we're going to. I want to say we're going to win, but I know this probably is our toughest game this season. I believe that. I don't think Philly is as strong as they were last year. Seen some weaknesses in them, but San Fran is all around. They're good.
Yeah.
Let me just put it out there. They're good. They're a good team. I got nothing bad to say about them.
Well, give me
They're a great
give me a
team.
score though. Give me a score in this game because
I'm
it's going to
give
be
you the
huge.
same score San Fran Steve gave you, but I'm going to say Cowboys going to win.
31-23.
31-23.
Cowboys win.
Cowboys.
I got the Cowboys 37-34.
37-34.
Yeah, I admire how you just came out and spoke so much truth to Owen. I love that. How you thought we were going. You and Big Kids. Thank y'all for
You know
putting it out
what?
there that the
I'm gonna
Cowboys
have-
gonna win this.
After this show, I'm gonna have a nice big bottle of Pepto-Bismol.
Man, I couldn't get through this phone call fast enough, man. I was like, yeah, we can watch the Cowboy Nation live.
I told you, block
I was trying. Hey, but let me ask you this. Now, Pittsburgh Steelers play the Baltimore Ravens now. It's an important game. Pittsburgh, we do have the issues. Now, they're coming into Pittsburgh, and the Steelers, if they win, believe it or not, with all our issues, Pittsburgh could be the leaders of the AFC North. Unbelievable.
Really?
Yes. So give me a score on give me a score on this game when the Ravens come into Pittsburgh.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
See, I don't know if y'all like the Cowboys because when we have a big mess up, we come back the next week and dominate like we always do. But the Steelers, I don't know if y'all got that kind of tenacity.
Well, we do have a history of tenacity with the Ravens. It's usually a close game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a battle though. And they're in Steeler land, the terrible towel land. Yeah,
That's everywhere.
I think
That's
you
everywhere.
trying to be like the Cowboys? That's Cowboys.
No,
man. We're everywhere.
no,
We're American
no.
team.
Whoever labeled you that,
We just got people going over to London now to prime them so that when we come, we get the big grand welcome. You know how that is.
oh Lord, oh boy,
Let's
have a score. Let's have a score.
give me a score.
I'm gonna say I think it's gonna be low. Well, not too about 24-17. I want to say
24-17.
Who?
You know what? I feel that I was watching Tomlin on TV talking about some things, and I really think he's gonna get him in check for this game. Would it be in a divisional rivalry and everything? So I think Steelers going to be on top of this game.
I
Especially
think you're
at
right.
home too.
Now, he
I
might be
really
right.
think so.
He might be right.
So, and since Matt Canada still had offensive coordinator, we talked about this last season. This is his chance to prove himself. How many times did we say that last season, Tiz?
Oh, many.
How many games?
Too many.
And this is, we do have a bye after the game. So if he's still offensive coordinator before the game, if he's not fired after that game, they better blow out the Ravens. Better just blow them out. Anything less than that, and you're still head coach, we're going to start writing letters because this is ridiculous. Did you hear the stats earlier in the show of how bad the Steelers offense have been since he's offensive coordinator?
Yeah, I actually been watching it. I've been kind of getting sick and nausea over it.
I mean, it's not.
I've been getting hives. I'm like,
so like we're not the guys over here because we're sad and crying because our team won't win a game. You know what I'm saying? It's because they're facts. Right. Why is the offense so bad? And what is happening? You have to look at the big picture and you have to look statistically. That's why they keep statistics and numbers to show that, oh, this isn't working. Why? Okay, who's not? Okay, look at the numbers. The numbers are the numbers. They are what they are.
Should get back? You know who y'all should get back?
Bruce Arians.
He's not liking where he's at right now. Claypool.
No, it's all right.
They're keeping him out of the game, man. They're not putting him in the game or anything.
No, I can agree with you that they are doing that to him, but that's not it though. Hey, Kendall, but we gotta hit up with you, brother. I love this battle because we got another call coming in, but I love this battle.
Great show, gentlemen.
Cowboy Nation. We got 49er Nation on the line that was talking earlier. Tony Romo. This is going to be phenomenal because these two guys, we want to mesh them up next week and get it kicking here on Still a Nation Live.
Yeah,
you know what?
Tell San Fran Steve, keep hope alive, okay? I hope ain't going to do nothing for him.
Prayers up. Prayers up.
All right, my brother.
All right, y'all have a good one.
All right, we'll see you.
Yeah, that was Cowboy Nation. That's what I'm talking about. We got Cowboy fans dropping on these other Cowboy fans.
We didn't have Cowboy fans.
We got Mr. Kennedy. You might know, but check this out.
Oh, Joey.
He says Cowboys. He said the Cowboys are going to win 24-20, and then also he said the Ravens 27-17 over the Steelers. Now this is a Cowboy lover, so of course that comes into you take it for what it's worth. You know what I mean? Just like last time. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, and the Steelers have been doing some phenomenal things. And hopefully, we had another call coming in, so hopefully that caller will call back. And guys,
the stats against the Ravens. The Ravens, took the AFC North by being division rival Cleveland Browns. We got another caller on the line. Yep. We'll talk about that in a minute after this caller. Welcome, Steeler Nation Live, caller. Who we got on the line?
Hi, this is Anna. How you guys doing?
Anna, what is going on, girl? Welcome to Steeler Nation Live. Anna, she's usually like an analyst that comes on with us. I couldn't get her on video-wise. Wanted her to call in. Anna's a straight. She's a hardcore Buffalo Bill lover. That's why I said we had San Fran Steve on, Cowboy Kenny. We got Buffalo Bill. And what? Look, tell me about it. Your Bills, they look phenomenal. I must give you kudos on that. We had some Bill callers that dropped some text online as well, saying Bills forever. You know what? Your Bills look powerful. What did you think about that win versus the Miami Dolphins?
I think that we did a really good job with Miami secondary. It's not all it's cracked up to be, and I think we did a really great job at showing that. Yeah. We looked phenomenal on offense. I think it's great that they finally are scheming properly to give Josh Allen a chance to do something other than play hero ball, so we're not forcing a bunch of stupid turnovers. I think that the O-line looked better than it's looked in I don't even know how long. They've given him more opportunities to keep out doing that, and I love our defense. I could wax poetic about them all day. I'm very excited for them. I'm even more excited to get Von Miller back. I think we just played better on both sides of the ball and push the fish.
Well, I think what the big problem was for the Miami Dolphins is they try to play tit for tat. They try to play, like we score more points than you. But when you play a high potent offense like the Buffalo Bills, you have to keep their offense off the field. Yeah, the Dolphins can score at will, but what you want to do is you want to control the game, control the clock, and keep their offense off the field. Now, Buffalo's defense is very, very good defense. Not as good as the offense. So when you want to keep a game in check, you want to keep their offense off the field because, like Josh Allen, he could either throw it, run it. It doesn't matter. The offense, the wide receivers, even Gabe Davis is stepping up a lot. Gibbs, he's a beast in the wide receiver. You got two tight ends, Kincaid and Knox. I mean, the running game, you got a lot. Overall, the Buffalo Bills on paper is like probably one of the best teams in the NFL today.
Yeah.
But you need to keep them off the field if you're playing them. Because when we played the Bills, we didn't do that. I mean, they just threw the ball down our throats. And we couldn't recuperate. We couldn't get back in the game. And we could talk all day about offensive coordinators, Matt Canada, whatever. But for a team like the Dolphins, yeah, you can score too, but you can't score as fast as they did and turn the ball over and give it back to the Buffalo Bills, because look, they don't waste moments. Buffalo Bills, they take advantage of when they have the ball. And it's very rare to see, turnovers when Josh Allen is doing too much. We all seen it in the past that the hero, like you said, the hero thing, as long as he kicks back that and let the other players do their job. And Buffalo Bills, you're going to have a hard time beating these guys. The only way to beat them is keep the offense off the field, Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, it appears that way. And like Anna said, Anna, you hit it the nails on the head. You guys are flourishing on both sides of the ball, offensively, defensively. I mean, right now it almost gives me reminiscences of the old Bills back in the day when you did it 4 straight. But can you keep your quarterback?
Oh,
Can you keep that quarterback straight? That's the thing I worry about, because your quarterback is actually the key. And I have to say it, he is the key to the engine that keeps the Bills going right now. But it seems for some reason you guys did this to the Dolphins at Buffalo, and it seems like when you guys go away and you play the Dolphins, it's like it's a different style.
Yeah.
Maybe the Dolphins have seen something, and they go into shutdown mode, and it all depends on your quarterback. So I'm trying to remember who do you have any idea? Who do the Bills play next?
Next week we play. Oh my God, who do we play next week? That's a great question. I was all thinking about the Steelers game this week. I was all excited. I was like, all right, going in against the Ravens. But this week, oh right, we're in London. We play the Jags at 9:30 in the morning.
The Jags got another one?
Yeah, they're still in London right now, hitting the pubs.
So I'm hoping that we get over there soon enough that we get properly acclimated. We don't give them too long of a home field advantage for it. And I'm glad that there's not another Toy Story game with it, because that was a lot to watch.
Well, the Jags tore up the Falcons, and I didn't see that coming. I had their defense and their kicker sitting on my bench, where they could have gave me 55 points in a victory this week in fantasy, but I got screwed. So they're already acclimated. They're there. I mean, so they have a heads up on the Bills right now. So it's going to be pretty tough. I mean, the Jaguars are no slouch. They're the team that you don't want to play, because they have a propensity of beating you and embarrassing you. So I think Buffalo is going to lose this game. And I think it's going to be like a 27-23 game, Jaguars over the Bills.
I agree. I agree.
They're already there. They played there. So,
no,
I mean, the jet lag and all that stuff. Just saying.
Anna, give us your score in that game. Jags, Bills.
I'm a little nervous about it, but anything will be better than the Urban Meyer game was a couple of years back. I also had it pretty close. I had Bills 24-21. I think that Tyler Bass has shown that he's the most accurate kicker in the league this year. He's had the most kick attempts. He's 100% across the board, extra points and field goals made. And I do think with the big adjustment to everything going overseas, trying to get reacclimated to a team that's already used to being there, I think it could come down to him. I think it's going to be a really slim margin, but I got Bills 24-21 over the Jags.
Whoa, I like it. Real quick, Anna, because we get crunched for time, and next week I definitely want you to come on live, because you got to see this girl. She knows how to run it. She knows how to talk it, as you can see, and she's just talking over the phone. But Anna, give us the score of the Steelers, Ravens coming into Pittsburgh. Huge game. If Pittsburgh wins, Pittsburgh is top of the division. Unbelievable. I'm still shaking over here. And James looks, he looks bewildered. He looked like that before the show. But the Steelers have to win this game and take control of AFC North. Give us your score. Steelers, Ravens in Pittsburgh.
They got to win. I want them to win, but I have no reason to have any faith in Matt Canada running this offense. I had the Ravens 20-13. I really want to see them do better. I know that they can do better. But when you're refusing to change what's clearly broken, it's really hard to throw heavy weight behind that.
Whoa!
She gets it.
Yeah.
She gets it.
Oh, my God. And oh, Lord, it's bad when you have to hear from somebody who loves another team, who speaks well about football, and a beautiful young lady, and knows football. I mean, come on.
Listen,
you can see it.
Listen, you could listen to everybody else who's not a Steeler fan, and the one thing that everybody is saying, you got to fire your offensive coordinator. You have to. And you know what? I'm getting sick of even saying it because, I mean, it's just falling on deaf ears. And I think they're going to give him one last shot. And because we have a bye week afterwards. So I'll give him time to clear out his office, I guess. I hope. But I say the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to squeak this one out 17-16. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen is the Steelers are up 17-9. They come back, score a touchdown, go for 2, and fail like they did, last year or 2 years ago?
Right.
I hope you're right.
Yes, I hope I don't care if they win by 1 or 1,000,000, as long as they get a win. Because when you look at the scoreboard, you look at the standings, you see wins and losses. You don't see scores. So if they win by 1 point, don't care. It's a win. So 17-16 Steelers.
Yeah.
It's too important of a season to just let Matt Canada be bad at his job because Joe Burrow's still hurt. So the Bengals leave the division wide open. The Browns are the Browns. Nick Chubb's out. It's somebody else who got hurt. Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson.
Oh, well.
Well, here's
nothing the Ravens at this point. So they got to take advantage of it.
Right. The story behind Watson, and there'll probably be another story coming up down the road, that he was medically cleared to play, but he refused. He didn't want to play for some reason. Maybe he wanted a massage. I don't know. But there's a story that's going down in Cleveland right now that nobody's talking about, but hopefully we'll see it in a couple of days, why he refused to play when he was medically cleared. I don't know. Yeah. I don't follow the Browns except when we play them in the division. So,
well, like you said, Anna, like I said, another beautiful call from you. Appreciate you coming on, and hopefully hope to see you next week on the show live. See your beautiful face on there, talking football, talking knowledge. I love it. So, Anna, hopefully we see you next week, and God bless you, and thanks for stopping by Steeler Nation Live.
Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
You got it.
Hey, that's what it's all about. Like I said, when you see Anna next week, like I said, very knowledgeable. You just heard it here, and it was correct. Everything she was saying. Yeah. Everything she was saying. Why is this guy still here? Still is the division is wide open right now. The Steelers can take it, even as dismal as we're playing. We have the possibility to take it. So it's all in our hands. It's all in our hands. And I hate to say it, myself, James, I wouldn't start Kenny Pickett.
No, I'm telling you,
I would leave him on the bench.
3 weeks.
I wouldn't even start Mitch. I would put Rudolph in. And the reason I say put Rudolph in, and I'm glad, and I'm glad she brought that up. I'm glad I thought of it. The reason is because I've seen Kenny Pickett play some bad games. I've seen him play some disastrous games.
Oh yeah.
I've seen Mitch play some horrible games.
Horrible.
Even with the Bears, I see Mitch play some horrible games. Rudolph, I've seen Rudolph have a bad game. I've never seen Rudolph totally implode. Honestly, I never have.
No.
I never seen the guy totally implode. Now, there's a reason he's in third slot. I get that, but I've never seen him have a horrific game with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Even when we lost to the Browns a couple years ago, when he got doinked on the head like whack-a-mole. The thing about it is that it wasn't like horrific though. I mean, at least he gave us a chance. I mean, as bad as it was the chance, but he gave us a chance. But when Kenny plays bad, Kenny plays bad. When Mitch plays bad, Mitch plays bad. I mean, so you guys, I need the feedback. I mean, I'd rather, to be honest, at this point, I'd rather just go for the gusto. If you're gonna let Canada stay, you might as well put Mitch in. I mean, not Mitch, let Rudolph.
Canada quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, well, he can't get it anyway, and he wouldn't get it then. But guys, like we said, the Steelers, huge, could also take the division. Matt Canada still there. A lot of things the Steelers got to fight out this week. Also, they're trying to think of some other things. Oh, let's do a quick thing on our grades real quick. I want to talk about as well.
Very simple. F for everybody.
Hey, all right, let's get it like here. Here we go.
I'll give you
here we go.
Boswell made all his field goals.
Steelers quarterback ratings versus the Titans. Come on, baby. Let's see it on the boards as well. Steelers quarterback rating versus the Vikings. And we know who the quarterback we're talking about. Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett versus the Texans.
E.
Yep, I agree.
E.
Totally.
Yep.
I agree 100%.
Yep.
All right. Steelers running back rating versus the Texans.
C minus.
I'm going to give it a C plus. And the reason I say that because Najee ran physical. Najee was in the receiving game. Najee and Jalen Warren were the top receivers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So not only were they running the ball and getting physically battered in the backfield because of bad blocking, they did a phenomenal job in the receiving side of the ball, better than our receivers. But to be honest, I don't even really think the receivers did a horrific job. But we'll get to that now. James, the Steelers wideout rating versus the Texans.
Well, let's see. Pull out the chart here. Pickens, 3 catches for 25 yards. That was our leader in the receiving core. E.
Dang. Ooh,
and that's contributing to not creating distance and separation from the defenders, not getting open, not coming back to helping their quarterback. E.
Wow.
And did I say did not score? Yes.
Yeah, e. You did. All right, let's see what do we got here. Steelers. Oh, here's an easy one for you guys out there. Steelers offensive line versus the Texans. And I'm going to start it off easy for you. E.
I'll give him a D. They did create some holes for Najee to get at least 70 yards. And Jalen Warren, he picked up a few yards. Not that many, but I'll give him a D. I'm a little generous.
Wow, you feeling good today, huh?
Yeah, I'm like Santa Claus.
All right. Steeler tight ends versus Texans. I'm going to give our tight ends C minus.
I'm going to give him a Z.
Well, and the reason I said that I'm going to give him a C minus is because we all remember we had a tight end that was open in the corner of the end zone. That should have been a touchdown.
Right. But I mean, you can't blame them for not getting the rock.
Yeah, Cam's little brother. He was open.
You know what?
But he was open. He ran his route. He was open. Then let's go to our Washington, our young tight end. He went out in the flat. I believe he was open as well on the 4th down play.
He was.
So
can't blame them. I mean, you can't.
I don't know.
Honestly, you can't even grade them. You can't really grade them because if you throw to them, they're wide open in the end zone. They drop the ball. That's despicable. But when you can't even give them the rock, so I'm going to say a category ungradable at this time.
Steelers defensive line versus the Texans.
E. They created no pressure.
Right
they created no turnovers. Not one splash play, not even a sack. And I gave them the grade based upon the statistics. Had they not played 90% of the season so far actively, they're tired. They're beat down.
Yep.
You know what? This bye week coming up is going to be a blessing for them. But, unfortunately, E. There goes Santa Claus giving his stuff away. Nope.
Okay. All right. And let's see what we got there. I'm going to give them an E as well. And they deserve an E. Probably a G, actually. Steelers linebackers versus the Texans.
Well, they did their best. They tried. Participation trophies for everyone. D.
10th place trophies. Huh?
They couldn't stop the 3rd down advances. They couldn't really shut down the offense. They did a couple of times, but you know what? That doesn't win ball games. You got to do it pretty much all the time. And they had a hard time with stopping, the Texans moving down the field. So D.
I agree with you totally. I'm going to give them an E as well. And let's look at Steelers defensive backs versus the Texans.
F.
Pretty much.
F. Nico Collins was open pretty much the whole game. Tackling, they couldn't tackle my grandmother who has passed away. It just in Levi Wallace. I mean, why are they not playing Joey Porter Jr.? He gets on there. He creates plays, splash plays, defensive breakups. He's there. He's doing it. I don't understand why he's not playing more. So I'll give the defensive backs an F. Fitzpatrick, F for Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem with Fitzpatrick is the Steelers got to make up their mind. if his strength's at safety, leave him at safety. You're moving him all over the place. Like, I don't know if you're trying to do the same thing you did with Troy Polamalu, but Troy had a more complete team around him as well.
Oh, yeah.
So
Troy did a lot of Troy stuff on Troy's own.
You can afford to do that. Ryan Clark back there, these guys taking people's heads off. It was a more complete team, and you can't do that right now. So that's what the problem is right now with Fitzpatrick's. But right now I give the defensive backs an E as well. Special teams, final. Special teams, Steelers versus Texans.
Well, since Boz made all his field goals, all two of them.
Two of them.
D. We didn't put the Texans deep in their own end. We gave them really good field position, and we all know that that's one of the factors of winning a ball game. Not only controlling the clock, controlling the offense, field position is everything. And when we beat the Raiders, I mean, our special teams were spot on. They had pretty much no field position during the whole game, and they just were not. Yeah, that D.
I'm in agreement with you. A D as well. Maybe an E, but no. You know what? I take that back. I'm going to go as high as a C minus. And the reason I say that and that I'm going that high is because they did enough to keep us in this game if the defense showed up.
True. Okay.
So I would give them that. But other than that, like we said, we made 2 field goals, and that's all. He was out there kicking 2 field goals because that's all he was afforded to do was kick the 2 field goals, and he made both of them. And Brad, I think it was Brad Wing or whatever his name is, that stepped in because of the injury to Harvin. He did okay job. I mean, he didn't do horrible. He didn't do anything to hurt us. Didn't do anything to help, but didn't do anything to hurt us. So I give him like a C minus. So guys, like we said, there you have it. We rated our team. It was a horrible week to watch football for us, but you know what? I love the game of football, so I didn't mind hearing from other guys out there whose teams are doing well. Because I'm gonna talk bravado, brashness when the Steelers get back to their rise. Because on our quest to 7 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and James, it's gonna be a huge one. Oh, one last thing we want to talk about that we did talk. Maybe you did touch base on it with the Steelers, their flight situations again.
I think who's flying these planes? Matt Canada. I mean, first we get Mercy Landing, come back from Las Vegas, and then come back from another stop that wasn't supposed to be there, and we're just having all these issues on offense, planes. I don't know. Like I said, Matt Canada's probably flying this plane. We'll blame him for that too.
You ain't lying, guys. There you have it. Another complete show here on Steeler Nation Live from Sanders Tisdale.
James Owen.
Like we said, we talk Steeler football. We talk Steeler disappointments. We talk Steeler losses. This week, let's hope versus the Ravens. We're talking about a Steeler win. So, guys, till we see you Tuesday, hopefully with a win. Like we said, back at you on Steeler Nation Live.